Flight Simulator 98 used to have a lot of mesh bugs that resulted in ridiculously elevated terrain. You never really knew the locations, and it covered the entire world, so there were a lot of them. A lot of times, when you flew through the mountains and valleys, weird stuff would happen. I've always hated glitches like that. It brings up the idea of it happening in real life, and I would probably crap my pants if it did. Flight Simulator 10 seems to have a lot of mesh bugs, but I haven't played that one. There's a website that lists a lot of this. Another user responds, I had something very similar happen to me while I was playing Silent Hill 1. For some unknown reason, Harry's head rendered it 2 pixels high, and many thousands of pixels long. Going into first-person view gave me a nice look at the black around the room I was in, and coming out of first-person showed the room I was in very slowly hovering into view, coming closer and closer. It was horrifying, like the end of Sapphire and Steel. Another scary loading glitch came when I was playing Hydrophobia. I was playing the game as you normally would when I headed through a door and stepped into absolutely nothing. The room on the other side of the door hadn't loaded. I was stuck in an infinite expanse of water in which I could do nothing but slowly drown. It gave me a nice insight into how stupidly the game was programmed. The game is essentially a huge block of water containing parts filled with air, rather than the other way around. Here's a GTA 4 related one that happened to a friend of mine and I when we were playing the game by ourselves. I'm sure everyone who has played the game is aware of the fact that when you reach 3 wanted stars, a police helicopter begins to follow you around, shouting taunts at the players while noose snipers in the back try to pick you off. Well, at one point, a helicopter started following us around for no reason. It wasn't even an LCPD helicopter. It was just one of those normal, unmarked ones, and it kept following us around wherever we went. It got pretty unnerving when we ended up trapped on the island in Liberty City's version of Central Park, with the helicopter just floating above us. We still talk about that from time to time, and we call it the Goodfellas incident, because it kinda reminded me of the last 10 minutes of that movie. Years ago, I used to play Halo 1 and 2 on PC, and had joined a tiny clan of about 3 or 4 other people. The leader was really weird and obsessive over all of us, and would have us tell him what we were doing the next day and demanded that we go to bed at the same time. On a few occasions, he even demanded, not asked, but demanded to know what we were wearing or what we had had for dinner. The other members were all used to it. One of them, who I talked to in private, said he basically just went along with it for the lulz. I missed a few days because of schoolwork and life stuff, and didn't have time to hop on to let them know. Then, I got a phone call to my house, asking for me by my gamertag. It was the clan leader, and he wanted to know where I'd been. I had never given any of them my phone number. I left the clan, changing my usernames on everything. For the next few years, I was stalked by the leader and 1 or 2 other clan members. I wasn't even good at the game. I only really stayed in it because I was convinced no other clan would want me, but it was like a Halo cult or something. The leader ate, slept, and breathed the clan, despite it being so small. And the guy did not sound young, either. A while back ago, I took some vacation time just because I had it and didn't have any plans. I became bored out of my mind and decided to play some Minecraft. I hadn't played in ages, so I was kind of messing around with the new updated stuff like world seeds. One of the world seeds I decided to use was simply Oprah, and it spawned me in this little bitty tiny island out in the middle of the ocean. I played around some more, learning how to fly, and decided I was going to make myself a little floating island above this one and have a nice little house. When I completed the project, I had a beautifully made wooden house with an upstairs. There were 2 windows, one facing east and one facing west, so I could see the sunrise and sunset. After I was done with that, I decided to go exploring, and noticed I had a boat in my inventory, which I got into and went cruising around in the ocean. I traveled really long and far without seeing anything, before I finally came across another really small island, and thought, wouldn't it be super creepy to have a giant cross out here? I searched for ways to have a permanent fire, and decided to make a giant burning cross. When I had completed that, the day was still young, so I got in my boat and carried on a ways until I came across another little island. I jumped onto land and began digging down, but when I had dug down just a little bit, I fell through pretty far and ended up in a cavern. The first observations hit me pretty quickly. There was torches, a treasure chest filled with items, and some other stuff strewn about. I thought to myself, holy crap, this is really weird. It's almost as if someone was living here. All of a sudden, I was hit with a wave of panic. I flew up out of the mountain and got in my boat and headed off back towards home. As I was heading home, it started to get darker and darker, and my visibility diminished. The entire time, it felt like someone was behind me, chasing me. Eventually, it was pitch black, and I was pissing myself trying to get back home. I saw some light and headed toward it, thinking it must be home. I had completely forgotten about the giant burning cross, and there it was, in full view, just blazing away. I jumped out of the boat and just flew, thinking to myself, forget this. It started to rain. Hard. I was trying to go as fast as I possibly could, and eventually, I reached my little island. I ran into the house, bolting upstairs, and destroyed the door, building a wall in its place, and I just peered out the window in the direction I came from. I stared outside through the darkness and the rain, waiting for whatever was chasing me to show up. I didn't feel safe again until dawn broke and the rain finally stopped. I was playing GTA 4 doing the achievement where you take all of the Helitours. I was on the one that takes you around Manhattan. It's been a while and I can't remember its real name. Anyway, we're flying through the skyscrapers when, suddenly, the pilot decides to go full speed. He stops talking and we're just flying really fast through the skyscrapers. Finally, we come towards the Get a Life building, and he smashes full impact into it. The helicopter catches fire, the pilot dies, and I'm left in the passenger seat. We fall to the ground, and the helicopter blows up on impact. I know it's not that scary, but it really weirded me out at the time.